All right, and happy Saturday. Darewolf here for Darewolf Gaming 88, also aka the Darewolf Den. I was sitting here getting ready to start doing some prep for the upcoming, actually next weekend. We're going to be doing an all-day stream. Hey Sanbei, good to see you, good to see you. We'll be doing an all-day stream next week called the Darewolf Den Spooky Stream. There are going to be 6 different games being run, and I was sitting here starting to do some additional prep for it. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be making an overlay, why don't I run some educational stuff for the rest of the community? As I've actually had a few folks ask, hey, how do you build overlays for actual plays? What's your process? And again, my overlays are not anything crazy. They're not, super complex. It's an image with some windows that I can pop people's faces into, and I keep it pretty simple. Maybe one day, when I become a truly super professional game master streamer, I'll actually do that stuff. But what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through just some of the basics, let you know what software you need. The good news is that everything that I'm going to use here today is completely free other than Zoom. Zoom you do have to have a membership for, and that's what I use to capture faces. You could potentially use Discord as well. The same process would work for it, but today I'm going to be using a Zoom video call, which is actually what I'm using right now. You can see my kitty cat in the background, but we're going to make this super, super simple, and we're going to get into it. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about the software that you need to go ahead and actually make this work. So the first thing here is we're going to need GIMP. Now, GIMP is a free image editing software. It's just GIMP. You go to Google, you type in GIMP. It's going to be the first thing that pops up. You can go ahead and download that, get it going. It's basically it's like Photoshop Lite. There are features that you can unlock I believe there's a paid version for it, but the base version for what we're looking to do here today is completely fine. It will do everything that you need to do with regards to video editing and actually turning this into a quote unquote overlay that can be used in something like Streamlabs. So second piece of software that you're going to need here today is actually going to be Streamlabs, which is the software that I use to stream to Twitch. I then record the videos. I'm actually using it right now on this video to actually do this whole intro to how to make overlays. So the other thing is Streamlabs. Now, especially if you're first getting into it, and I still use it even today, there's other sites, there's a new other software called OBS, which is a little bit more complex, does offer more features, but for my purposes and for a lot of those that may just be getting started with streaming, tabletop RPGs, etc., this is going to be absolutely perfect. It's going to do everything that you actually need it to do. So that one again is Streamlabs. You can just type in Streamlabs, you can download it, super small file, but once you have those two things downloaded, so again, you need GIMP, and you need Streamlabs. We're going to talk about how to find some images, how to use them, etc. Now, one of the websites that I use is actually a website called Pixabay. The big thing is, since you are going to be streaming, and this is technically going to be considered like commercial use, you want to make sure that you're using a royalty-free image. If you use just anything off of like Google Photos or etc., people can copyright infringe you for using their photos. So I actually go to a website called pixabay.com. In fact, if you just go to Google, you type in royalty-free images, you can see I've used it. There's a couple of different places, but I find the one, you can see it's highlighted right now. Let me duck down a little bit. I like this one because it's got 2.7 different images. There's videos you can use, like when I do my intro videos and things like that. There's just a lot of different features and a lot of different things you can do. You can see the little drop downs here. They've got graphics, photos, music, sound effects, GIFs, etc. So what I did is I am going to be making an overlay for the upcoming quote-unquote spooky stream. It's our Halloween stream that we're doing for Darewolf Den. Myself and several of the other game masters on our server will actually be running a bunch of these little one-shots, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and pop into the chat here my link tree. You can find a link to the Discord if you're interested in being in games, etc. Hashtag shameless plug. But enough about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for an image to use as the background. Now, I've actually already taken the initiative to go ahead and find one. Now, when you're doing this, I stream and record all of my content in 1080p. So you're going to want to make sure when you go to download the image, if you're going to be streaming in 1080p, which is a little bit more clear, a little bit higher resolution. I like to stream there. Yes, the video files are larger, but I like to stream there because you get a little bit crisper. It's a little bit more beautiful. It's a little bit easier to see people's faces, emotions, etc. So what you do is you go to Pixabay, find what you want. I simply typed in Fog Mountains, found this really cool, kind of little creepy, kind of a little different, you know, sort of background here. And then you're going to go to free download. You're going to click on the free download, and then make sure when you download it, you want to make sure that's going to give you a couple of different. So if you're streaming in 720, you can download the 720 so that it doesn't get like pixelated and look weird. Pixabay, pixelated, etc. And then you're going to want to make sure you're doing the 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to click download. It's going to give me my little download thing. I've actually got a couple images. You actually downloaded it earlier, but I'll just go ahead and save it again because, hey, why not? All right. Once you have your image downloaded, you're going to go ahead and you're going to boot up GIMP. Now, again, GIMP was that software that I talked about just a little while ago. And once you have GIMP pulled up, looks a little bit something like this. Super simple. You've got all your little boxes, and you can make windows and fill, and there's a lot of features that even I myself really don't understand about GIMP. But it's pretty straightforward. Once you use it, you start messing around with it, you're going to get better with it. If you've ever used Photoshop, or if you have Photoshop, a lot of things that I'll be teaching you here today can be used with Photoshop as well. Again, I don't have Photoshop. I use GIMP. It does everything I need. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to drag that file. So I've got that file under my recent files right here. I'm just going to drag that over into the window here. So boom. Okay. So I've got the image in here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So boom. So this right here, this is going to be my overlay. This is what I'm going to eventually, once we get our windows put into here, this is what I'm going to be using to actually, like, I'm going to save this as a PNG. This is what I'm going to be using to actually put into Streamlabs, excuse me. And then it's going to help me build my windows and all that good stuff, yada, 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 etc. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start actually building windows for your players, for you, for a game map. And that's the other thing you want to think about. Are you going to be doing just faces? Are you going to be doing faces plus a battle map, positioning, etc.? So there's a couple things to think about, how many people you're going to have. But once you get the first one done, you can actually save it, and then you can just continue to reuse it. So I actually have a file. I'll actually show you here. If I go to open here, I got to find it here really quick. Search, recently used. Oh boy, now I actually got to find where I saved it. You know what? Let's not do that, because Darewolf doesn't remember where he saved that file. He's got too many files, but I digress. But once you get the overlay built, you can actually save it, and then you continue to reuse that overlay and just change the background image. But, so we've got this pulled up. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to go over to the window button right here. Okay, this is your little rectangle select tool. All right. Now, once you have that selected, you want to build and you want to make a new layer. Okay, so down on the right hand side, this is your base layer. This is going to be your background. Okay, you want to build a new layer. So I'm going to click new layer. I'm just going to call this, let's call this player windows. Oh, I can spell player windows. Okay, you want to make sure that we've got the background, no background, it's perfect, alpha lock, perfect, boom. All right. So this has created a background layer for my windows that does not have, it's transparent in the background. You want to make sure that's transparent. It's going to look like it's got those little checkers, okay? Now, when I have this selected right now, when I go to draw, it's going to draw on that player window layer, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and we're just going to start thinking about how we want to set this up. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make... So we're going to have anywhere between 4 and 5 players plus a GameMaster. So I'm going to need at least 6 windows to make this work. So I'm thinking 3 on each side, and then probably like a big screen in the middle for like the battle map. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to build the battle map first. All right, so we'll do something like this. Make sure that looks kind of even. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe make this a little bit bigger. All right. Now, one thing I do recommend is you want to make sure you have rounded corners. If you do squared corners, so what I've got selected over here is this little X box right here that says rounded corners. If you don't do rounded corners, it's going to make it look very like boxy in a bad way, but the rounded corners kind of help that image once you import it in. It gives you a kind of more of a softer feel, in my opinion. So what I've got is I've got 28.5 for the radius, okay? And I've created a box here. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fill that box in with a solid color, okay? So you want a solid color. The color that I choose is a bright, basically neon green, okay? So I've got it all the way up in the right-hand corner, neon green. It's about as green as it can get, because when we upload and we load this image, once we've created our overlay into Streamlabs, we're going to use what's called a color key to actually delete that green, which will give us a transparent background, and then we can slide our video for our players and ourselves and our game board. We can slide that right into the background. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'm going to select this fill. I'm going to fill this. Boom. I've got this filled in right there, looking pretty okay. Perfect. I think I like that. Looks pretty good. All right. And let me just kind of slide this a little bit, make sure it looks even. I think it looks pretty even. Little bit down on the bottom side, which is no big deal. You can click Shift S. Shift S lets you resize the window that you're working on. So Shift S, I'm using the resize tool right now. I'm just going to make the top a little bit bigger, just so that it kind of fills in. I'm going to shrink this side just a little bit. Reposition this just a little higher. That looks pretty okay. Looks pretty even on both sides. I can always mess around with it a little bit. So I'm going to click off of that. I'm going to say exit out of this. Okay, so that's been rescaled. Looks a little bit good. Just make this a little bit. I'm just going to slide this right here. Go back to my select tool. Okay, so I've resized. So this is going to be my middle. This is going to be my middle of my, where the battle map is going to be for the players, etc. So like the viewers at home can see what is on that battle map. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the middle. And I like to do the middle part first, especially if you're doing one with the battle map. I want to do the middle part first because then I can build the windows around it. And the thing you also want to think about is, do you want a window for the Twitch chat? Do you want to do a window for roles? Do you want to have a window for whatever else? You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you have the proper amount of windows for what you're looking to do. Mine is going to be 3 on each side, which is going to give us enough for both windows, for player roles, as well as for the different views of different images, different people that are going to be in the game, etc. So I'm kind of rambling here at this point, but bear with me. All right, so let's just do the exact same thing. Make a little window here. So this will be my window for one of the players. Oops. Go back. Do this. So I'm going to create a oopsie. All right, exit this, exit that. All right, let's go back. I'm going to create another layer for another player window. Okay. And then I'm going to do this again. So we're going to do, oops. Okay. Grab this. Oopsie doopsie. All right, I've done a thing. See, I told you I wasn't very good at this, so bear with me. Here we go. All right, we do this. We're going to slide this over here. Control S, make this just a little bit smaller. Okay. I think that looks pretty okay. Do this. All right, and then we're going to fill this in. Oops. Now my question is, why did it delete itself? I'm having a moment. Bear with me. You know what? I told you I wasn't very good at this. It's all right. Super professional streamer. I'm having a senior moment here, everyone, so bear with me. Like I said, super professional. But all right, so let's do this. So it's opening from the center. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so we got this right there. I'm gonna go Control Shift. That a little bit bigger. I'm gonna go to Select, and it keeps deleting it, and I'm not sure why. That's so weird. Huh. Well, now I'm a little confused, friends. All right, let me delete this layer. go back over here. Let me select this. All right, let's do this. Let's drag this over here. Put this here. Go to select, go to fill that in. All right, perfect. Okay. Now we're cooking, friends. Now we're cooking. All right, so I'm going to select this. I'm going to resize this slightly. Yeah, it's a process, but we're getting through it together. So bear with me. All right, so we got this. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. I want to select this. Drag this up to here. All right, so I've got my little window selected. Perfect. Now what you can do is once you have your window the size that you want, you can click Control-C, and then you can just paste. All right, I got another copy of that. Boom, I got this one right here. Drag this down a little bit. Control-V. Drag this one down to here. Okay. And let's do this. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make these just a little bit bigger. I'm going to grab this, Control-S, Shift. Let's make this just a little bit bigger than it was to help kind of fill in everything. All right, there we go. So now we got this one. I'm going to move this right here. Okay. And then we're going to Control-C, Control-V. Got the bonus. Okay. Put that one right there. This one right here. Perfect. Okay. Now we're cooking. And it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It just has to look pretty okay. And let's do this one over here. And this one right here. Okay. And one thing I do recommend is when you're doing a stream overlay, you don't really need that much background because at the end of the day, your players, your viewers are coming to, and again, I'm not a big Twitch streamer. I think I've got 124 followers right now, but hey, you know, you start somewhere, right? But your viewers are coming to see your players. So I like the background not to really be an afterthought, but it's there just to add a little bit of color, a little bit of flavor, but you don't want it to be the primary thing. Again, the folks are there. They want to see the faces. They want to see the battle map. They want to see your players. They want to see you guys playing the game, right? So what I've got here is I've got everything put together. Not 100% perfect. I'll probably go back and mess around with it, but at least for the purposes of this stream and of this educational video, I want to show you guys how it works. So again, all I did is I filled everything in. I did copy and paste, got this all done. Once you're at this point, okay, once you've got all of this done, you've got your windows built, you've got everything put together here, yada, 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 you're going to go over to File, and you're going to go to Export As, okay? Now, when you export it, you want to make sure you export it as a PNG. That's going to allow you to keep that transparency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say spookystream.png, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this in, let's go to overlay, let's go roll 20, Darewolf Gaming, let's go to Darewolf Den Spooky Stream, Skadongle, export, boom, all right. We are going to export that. Spooky Stream is being exported. So what that's doing is it's exporting it as a PNG. It's going to save the transparency in the background of the video, or of the image, excuse me. And then I'll be able to import that to Streamlabs so that we can use that to build our actual video, like overlay, actual play overlay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize GIMP. There's a kitty in the background again. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little bit of, you can see me doing it. So this is Streamlabs. This is what I use to stream and do this video, etc. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to, let's see here. I'm going to hop over to Darewolf Den Spooky Stream, which is just a basic video thing right here. All right, so it's just going to show me, not me. You can't even see me. I'm gone. I'm gone forever, which is hilariously wonderful. But you've got me over there. I'm going to go ahead and pop myself back in so you can actually see me. Here we go. And I'm back. Woo! Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to grab that image, okay, that we just made. All right. We're going to go grab that image, and then what we're going to do is we're going to drag that into the overlay, and then I'm going to show you guys how to use the color key to get rid of the green, and then I'll show you how to actually use the zoom to start to put the video, like the videos in the background. You can actually see the players and everything like that, okay? So let's go over here, and we're going to have... Let me grab my overlay. We're going to go over to Darewolf Den. We're going to go to Spooky Stream, and we're going to grab our Spooky Stream. So all I'm doing right now is I'm grabbing the image. I'm going to drop that into here. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your background, okay, your background is going to be the Spooky Stream. So let me just jump over here really quick so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So what you've got here is I've got the Spooky Stream. If you go over to here, let me go to this. Let me go over to Spooky Stream so you can kind of see what I'm working on. Okay. So if you look over here, I've got it in picture-in-picture. But if you look over here, what we've got is I've got the Spooky Stream right here. I've got it below my video right now so that you can see me. But in the future, you're going to put it behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click this. I'm going to go over to Filters. Okay? We're going to edit Filters. You're going to click on Add Filter. All right? There's going to be an Add Filter button. So you're going to click Add Filter. And you want to go down to Color Key. All right? Color Key. Now, I've got mine preset for green. So let me make sure that it gets rid of it. Okay, so it got rid of it. Now, what it looks like I did, embarrassingly enough, is I forgot to do transparency on the background of that video, on that image, but that's okay. I'll show you another one that I've got, and we'll make this work. Again, super professional here doing this, but I digress. All right, let me go ahead and delete this. And let me actually grab one of my other overlays so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, like I said, I'm super professional. All right, so here is another example of an overlay that I have. All right, so this is an overlay. All right, you're gonna right click on this. You're gonna go to Filters, Edit Filters. You're gonna go to here. You're gonna go to Color Key. You're gonna click Add. Boom. And then when you do it right, which I didn't do it right the first time because it was all very like impromptu, so super de-duper my bad. But when you do it right, what you're going to get is you're going to get this image with a black background after you use the color key. And then what that's going to do is it's going to show, it's going to allow you to put your images behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go click down to here. I'm going to click Add Source. All right. And then when I go down to Window Capture, I'm going to click Add Window Capture. All right. And then I'm going to go to Add New Source. So click this. We're going to say Player Windows. Okay. All right. We're going to click Player Windows. Perfect. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure you have it set to Windows 10. And then you're going to select your Zoom call. All right. Boom. So there's the Zoom call. All right. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you drag this underneath the actual image. So you want the image over top. Now you see here how this is behind. Now if you hold down Shift, you can actually, Alt. If you hold down Alt, you can start to shrink and actually snip this. And then you can drag your player. So let's say you had a multiple call. You can drag your player right over here. And then boom, you can put his image or her image or their image right into and behind there. So boom, there we go. All right, that's one. And then what you'll do is you would literally just do the exact same thing for every one of your players. You just snip their window, skadoosh. Let me go grab her here, skadoosh, okay. You snip this a little bit right there, snip this a little bit right there. And then let me grab this, skadoosh, okay. And then let me go over, grab this guy right here, drag this guy, okay. Got a duplicate there, all right, boom. All right, we have so many Darewolves. I don't know what we're gonna do. We have too many Darewolves right now. All right, hold on. Actually, we need one more Darewolf. Let's do one more Darewolf. All right, here we go. And then drag that down here. All right, perfect. All right, so we've got all our Darewolves, which is beautiful. All right, so all of our Darewolves are up here, which is great. And then what you'll do is you're going to do the exact same thing. You do the exact same thing with your game window. So I'm just going to give you an example right now of if I was to, say, use like a Roll20 game. Let me do the Roll20. Okay, and I'm going to go over it. So all I'm doing right now is I'm going over to Roll20. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of my upcoming games. Let's open up, say, Skull and Shackles, for example, since this is going to be the Skull and Shackles overlay. So bear with me here for a second. Skull and Shackles. All right, so I've got Skull and Shackles launched right now. All right, so Skull and Shackles is launched. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Add Window, Window Capture, Add Source, New Window. This is going to be Roll20 Battle Map. Okay, name that battle map. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you go down to Windows 10. And then you're going to find Skull and Shackles right here. Boom. All right, so I've got that window, but obviously, oh man, that's way too big. Too much craziness going on. It's covered everything, so I want to, once again, drag this below so it's behind that window. And then you're just going to snip it for your purposes. You're going to just hold that Alt button. And then you can just make this a little bit smaller. You kind of snip it like this. Let me do one of these. Kind of do this. Drag this down. Maybe I make it a little bit bigger. Okay, like that. I can zoom out a little bit on the map. Okay, there we go. And a lot of this is just kind of like a trial and error. You want to figure out where do you want your window to be, etc. Boom. But that is, my friends, pretty much the long and short of it. And then if you want to add player names, if you want to add, titles, etc., things like that, you'll just go into sources. You can go over and you can add text. You can add source. I want to do a new source, and I'll say Darewolf name. Add source. Once you have it up, you can select any of the cool fonts. I've got a bunch of cool fonts downloaded. Let's use Cthulhu's Calling. We'll say Darewolf GameMaster. Or I'll just say GM because it's too big. Let's see, GM. Boom. And then you can drag that little image over here. You can resize it a little bit and be like, oh, look, that's Darewolf. He's the Game Master. And I like to put that on the top layer. We'll go transform. We'll edit the position. We'll say we want this to come down a little bit. Let's do kind of one of these. And we just click, 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 click until it's right where we want it to be. A little micro adjustment. Boom. All right. And there we go. And then you just do the exact same thing for all your players. Get everyone put in there. So you have all the players in there, etc. But that's pretty much the long and short of it. Wasn't a perfect video, but I wanted to at least give you guys an idea of like how the process works. The one thing that I did incorrect in the beginning, and I want to go back and I just want to show you guys this really quick, is I forgot to add an alpha channel to this. So when I imported this, it didn't have a transparent background. Okay, so you want to add the alpha channel, and then that's going to give you a transparent background once you delete the windows over it. All right, so that's the one thing that I did not do. That was really the main problem. So when you create a new window, make sure it's 1920 by 1080. You want to go to advanced options. You want to have your background color. You want to have transparency. I didn't click transparency. So again, when you go to do this the first time, first thing you do, make your template 1920 by 1080. Make sure you have fill with transparency because that's going to give you that transparent background when you delete the green. Click OK. It gives you this. You want to make sure it looks like this. And then literally you would do the exact same process that we did before with regards to the picture. So you would find your image, you drag it into here, image fills it in. Now when you go in and you build your windows, when you delete those windows, it's going to show you a transparent background. So let me just show you that again one more time. Discard changes. You want to go File, New, 1920 by 1080. Make sure you have the transparency selected. click OK. That's going to give you that transparent background. But that was the only thing that we forgot to do. No big deal. But yeah, if you have any questions about how this process works, if you think I'm a piece of garbage because this was super random and all over the place, totally understand as well. But in the good news, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you at least learned a little bit. If you ever need some help building an overlay, if you ever have any questions about, how the process works, if you ever need help with it, again, I am not by any means the best when it comes to this. I've only been streaming and building my own overlays for the last like 6-7 months. And I'm very newbie at it. I'm still learning. As you can see, I still bumble around with the software some as well. But hopefully seeing me bumble around with the software a little bit will make you feel better when you too bumble around with the software. And I've made probably 20, 30 of these things over the last 7-8 months. And I still mess up every once in a while because it's a very, there's a lot to it. But once you get down the method, and the one thing I will recommend just to throw it out there is when you have your base template made, save that, because then what you can do is, like, once you have the windows made, that base template windows, you can actually go and reuse that every time that you're going to make an overlay. So I actually haven't had to make an overlay from scratch in the last like 4 or 5 months. So that's why partly I'm making excuses. That's partly why I was bumbling around a little bit, because I literally have not had to make overlays. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you, I have an overlay template. So let me just show you what this looks like. So I'm dragging this over. So this is my overlay template. All right, boom. 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is one of my overlay templates. If I wanted to switch this, literally all I have to do is delete this background, replace it with another image, and then I have all my windows exactly where they need to be. So super, super easy, super, super simple and straightforward. Here's another example of an overlay template that I have. Boom, right here. So let me give you an example. So if I take this, I'm going to delete this background. Boom, background is deleted. I'm actually going to delete this layer. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, I'm going to grab my image. I'm going to drag this into here. Boom, image is in the background. Perfect. I've got my image. I want to go over here. I want to make sure this has a alpha channel. Perfect. That's right there. I can go ahead and I can click File. I can click Export As. I can go to Downloads. I can say, let's go to my Roll20 games. Let's go over Darewolf Gaming, Darewolf Spooky Stream. Let's say Spooky Stream. Oops. Let's name this Spooky Stream 2. Okay, export. And then let's actually just, so boom. But again, I've got my window layer built. And then every time I do a new stream, a new game, whatever it may be, all I have to do is just replace the background image. So once you get it set up for, this one is specifically designed for when I'm running a game with 5 players. And then the other one that I just showed you, that first one, this one's designed for when I'm running a game with 4 players. So I have 4 players. I have the Roll20, I have the Roll20 chat. So I've got player, 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 player. So me, player, 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 and then Roll20, just as an example. So that everyone can see what's going on and whatnot. But yeah, if you have any other questions, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was insightful. I know it wasn't perfect. I appreciate you letting me bumble through this. But again, the software that you need is GIMP. You're going to need Streamlabs or OBS. I recommend Streamlabs because it's just super user-friendly. It's really easy to use. It's not as complicated. And then you're just going to want to use like Pixabay, which is my favorite one because it has so many images. Make sure it's royalty-free, because if you do use a copyrighted image, you can get a copyright strike, and it's like 3 on Twitch and you can get banned. So just make sure you're being very careful. But like any of those websites like Pixabay, etc., royalty-free images, you can use those, at your leisure. But other than that, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for stopping in. If you do have any other questions, don't hesitate to hit me up. You can email me at darewolfgaming88@gmail.com. You can also hit me up on Discord, darewolf, #3671. And in the meantime, as I always say at the end of every stream, thank you so much to the viewers for viewing. Thank you to the players for playing. Happy gaming, everybody. I will catch everyone next time for our stream tonight. We'll have Rise of the Rune Lords. And if you do like this content, if you're catching the VOD, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you like the channel, always appreciate a sub. Every little bit helps. Everything goes back into creating more content and helps me keep both the Discord channel as well as the stream running. But in the meantime, be well, be safe, and I'll catch you guys later. Cheers.